Angelina, thanks very much for joining us. Trevor, thanks to you as well. I want to get to the whole HIV AIDS project momentarily, but your thoughts on what went through your mind in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Katrina?
Oh my God. Well, I think, for me, the situation, because I'd been to so many refugee camps, it seemed like something I didn't expect to ever see in America. And it was something that I was wondering who was going to be called in. I think I was like most people. I was just waiting to see when everybody was going to get in, who was coming, how they were going to get organized. I called UNHCR and I said, have you guys been called? Because they coordinate relief efforts like that and people who are displaced. And they said, no, but we're standing by. And then the second day and the third day, and like most people, just started to get angry and really sad and really confused.
Were you like addicted to watching the images on television?
I was a bit, and a close girlfriend of mine was from there, and so I was around a lot of emotion and a lot of, yeah, I mean, it's...
I think a lot of people really were shocked to see those pictures. None of us thought we would ever see anything like that in the United States, but you know what? It underscored that there is a lot of poverty in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when you hear the statistics, when they talk about, they tell everybody to evacuate, but then you read and you read more, and then it says 140,000 people had no cars and no access, no way to evacuate. You think, that's a fact. We know that. So what does that mean, that we say evacuate, but then we don't airlift people? I think it was just for all of us. Still, we don't quite know what that says about.
I know you're very generous in terms of your charity and the philanthropy. Did you get involved in New Orleans, in Louisiana, Mississippi?
My first instinct, well, I think the first instinct for everybody was to go on and ask for money. And because I had seen so much money in different parts of the world, just not be able to actually get to the people, because the reality is so many times wonderful organizations like Red Cross, we build up a lot of money, but until our government was going to step in and bring order, you can't get the aid to the people in most need. So I was at that point focused, and I released a statement that I was going to be writing to my congressman and you know, to my representatives and to the president, and to ask them first. So that's what I was doing. I was kind of pushing people to try to get them in, to try to get somebody in to respond. And now my focus will be in helping to rebuild and going in after and when it settles and seeing what needs to be done, which I don't know what that is yet.
How do you divide up your domestic priorities, helping people in this country, as opposed to helping people around the world?
I don't. You know, to me, it's not a different thing. I don't kind of say a bit here, a bit there. I think, and I tend to hear a lot of that now. People say, well, we're doing this here. Like recently, the idea of funds, possibly because of Hurricane Katrina, they'll say, well, there are funds going there, so maybe it might be taken out of the PEPFAR fund for AIDS, or it might be taken out of the... I don't understand that. My personal view is give everything you've got to everything that's necessary. Find a way. And it's not...
but are you concerned that Americans are going to now look inside and forget about the needs in Africa or elsewhere around the world?
I hope not, and I don't think that's not the American spirit, it's not their heart, but I think they're very also affected by the news, and if they just see headlines after headlines of just one emergency, it will be hard for them to remember how many other human rights abuses are going on, and crises and civil wars and you know, AIDS and all of these other things that they need to, you know, to be focusing on as well. And there isn't a, you know, this idea that, well, we can only give to one. That tends to happen. You know, you give to one, you focus on one, and the others don't go away.
How did you get involved? And you're a UN Goodwill Ambassador. How did this happen that all of a sudden, one day, a very glamorous movie star like yourself winds up going around the world, including in these refugee camps, and you're working to try to do something about HIV/AIDS?
I feel very, very fortunate that I started traveling with work, and my eyes were opened through meeting people of other countries and seeing what life was like for them in countries like Cambodia and Sierra Leone, and realizing that I couldn't just rely on, you know, what was being taught to me at school or basic news, that I needed to go out and really try to see for myself, and met a lot of amazing people. So it's been nothing really but inspiring and gives me strength and hope, and I've met the most wonderful people who are refugees or child soldiers who've taught me just about life, and so I'm just blessed to be able to work with them. It's a great thing.
Trevor, what is the purpose of what you're doing here in Washington?
Well, we're trying to call on the world's business community to better respond to the AIDS pandemic and trying to use business leaders to put pressure on government to do more. Every day, 8,000 people die from AIDS. It's an everyday hurricane, every single day. And another 12,000 every day are infected. And so with Angie's help and the help of our CEOs who are here, Condoleezza Rice, Senator Clinton, we're all going to be coming together tonight to try to say to companies, you've got to get involved. You've got to do what you can to try to stop this.
And they're responding?
They really are responding. We're going to have 600 people tonight at the Kennedy Center. Massive numbers of companies have come together, but not enough is happening. As Angie said, the suffering that everyone witnessed there in New Orleans, now the suffering caused by Hurricane Rita, that suffering is multiplied times 1,000 in Africa every single day. And the American spirit is one that lends itself to helping. And when people are aware of these things, they want to help.
You've adopted a young kid. Talk a little bit about that. Zahara is her name.
Zahara. She's from Ethiopia. She's an AIDS orphan, and
what does that mean, an AIDS orphan?
It means that's what they believe how she lost her parents.
Both her mother and her father.
Yeah, they didn't have a track on the father. I think the mother was.
Does she?
I think there wasn't like a marriage. I think it was just a woman got pregnant.
Does Zahara have AIDS?
No, she doesn't. But we didn't know that at first.
And she's not HIV positive.
She is not. No. But we didn't know that, and there were a lot of. I think the most upsetting thing for me, was that I came here. She had to go to the hospital for dehydration and malnutrition, and when she got there was lots of other things that they were concerned about that were showing up. But it turned out to be different things. They thought there was a mass in her arm, and it turned out to be a rickets fracture from being malnourished and things like this.
How old is Zahara now?
She is 9 months soon, but there was a fear that she had HIV, and the upsetting thing was that I was sat down and it was explained to me that don't worry, because in this country, it's not a death sentence, which is also saying to me, because she's not in an area where she's poor, now she can live. Because she's not in an area where she can't access medicine, now it was such a kind of horrible thing to hear. Because in Ethiopia she would what they're saying is, this is something that because you're in a wealthier country you have more of a chance to. But at the end of the day, I was terrified but prepared, because it is something I think we should all be prepared to take on. It's not a it's a very real, very serious, very scary thing. But at the same time, we should not be scared to adopt children that possibly could have AIDS. It's okay, but she does not. Which is very good, and I'm sure you're thrilled. Yeah.
And there'll be 25 million AIDS orphans by 2010. There are 18 million today. Unfortunately, most of them haven't been adopted. Most of them aren't even in the process of being adopted. And so we're looking at ways that can change, looking at ways to try to get Americans and Europeans and others to understand that there are children out there that need loving homes and deserve loving homes. Seconds? Yeah, every 14 seconds a child is orphaned.
Bono, another star who has been deeply involved in trying to help people around the world. He was quoted in Time magazine in June as saying, "The most important and toughest nut is still President Bush. He feels he's already doubled and tripled aid to Africa, which he has, but he started from far too low a place." Are you getting involved in the politics here in Washington as well, trying to excite people, Democrats and Republicans?
I didn't mean to, but this morning I ended up in it. Just because I this morning found myself questioning and genuinely questioning, not trying to make have an opinion in Washington, but I found myself genuinely questioning when it was brought up how much was spent. And like I said then, I don't have an opinion. I'm not saying I'm for or against war, but the amount that is spent every month being, I think they said $5 billion, and to sit there and to kind of suddenly realize that if we're spending $15 billion on AIDS for over what is it, 3 years,
in fact,
5
we
years?
actually haven't spent.
But we haven't even
that
spent
much.
that. We spent 2.3,
Yeah.
which is what, 2 weeks? That's what we've spent on AIDS. And how is that really what? So I didn't mean to start to get into it, but I suppose you can't help it when you kind of have to ask those questions.
When you feel passionate and you're in Washington, D.C., you got to do it.
You get stuck in it.
Angelina Jolie, thanks very much. Thanks for coming into the Situation Room. Thanks for your good work.
Thank you.
Trevor, thanks to you
Will.
as well.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Hold my hand and fly away. You're the reason for the smile on my face. stay. So keep my heart, that's all I say.